And welcome everyone to the Daily News Analysis of 23rd of December 2023। तो इम्पोर्टेंट आर्टिकल हिंदू न्यूज से जो है पहले देख लेते हैं। माक्रन एक्सेप्ट्स पीएम से इनवाइट टू बी द चीफ गेस्ट ऑफ रिपब्लिक डे फेट। देन टेलीकॉम लॉ अपग्रेड्स फॉर ए डिजिटल authoritarian state. Assam Meghalaya panel on boundary dispute to submit report by December 31st. Ministry holds meet with CM of Northeast states over lag in divine scheme. Then CAG audit find government gave widow pension to men in Jharkhand. Government aims to set up 17,000 crèches across the India. Economic scenario turning beginning. Then next है China bans export of rare earth technology. पहला आर्टिकल जो है मैक्रॉन एक्सेप्ट्स पीएम इनवाइट टू बी द चीफ गेस्ट एट रिपब्लिक डे फेटे. French President Emmanuel Macron will be the chief guest at the Republic Day celebration next January, the Ministry of External Affairs (MEA) announced on Friday. Mr. Macron has acknowledged India's invite and announced that he will be here on January 26 for the festivities. As strategic partners, India and France share a high degree of convergence on a range of regional and global issues. This year, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the India-France strategic partnership, said MEA in the announcement, accepting the invite from the Indian Prime Minister. Mr. Macron said in a social media post, "Thank you for your invitation, my dear friend Narendra Modi. India, on your Republic Day, I will be here to celebrate with you." France has emerged as one of the key defense partners of India in recent years, and the two sides have maintained a consistent high-level contact. Mr. Modi was guest of honor at the Bastille Day parade in Paris on July 14. The French president visited New Delhi during G20 summit on September 9-10 when he had traveled to Dhaka for a short visit. Then next day, do not misconstrue IMF debt outlook. The Union Finance Minister on Friday sought to dispel certain factually incorrect presumptions being made about India's indebtedness levels from a scenario-based assessment by the International Monetary Fund that warned government debt could hit 100% of GDP by 2017-18 under adverse circumstances. In the light of the IMF's latest article IV consultation with India, certain presumptions have been made taking into account possible scenarios that does not reflect factual positions. The ministry said the ministry stressed that any interpretation that the report implies that general government debt would exceed 100% is misconstrued. Then next article जो है टेलीकॉम लॉ अपग्रेड फॉर ए डिजिटल ऑथोरिटेरियन स्टेट. The tweet by Union Minister for Communication Ashwini Vaishnav Bharat moves on Thursday evening, December 21, 7:58 p.m. announced the parliamentary passage of the Telecommunication Bill 2023 and the repeal of the Indian Telegraph Act 1885 under the vision of the PM at Narendra Modi ji notice the international use of Word Bharat and isolation and omission of India. Similarly, crediting the Prime Minister's individual vision is by design. Similarly, crediting the Prime Minister's individual vision is by design. This is not peculiar to the Telecom Bill 2023 and draws from the common brand kit used for claiming credit for any and every event by the Union government put together. They are a clever call of cultural nativism for Indian finally realizing their manifest destiny under the leadership of one man. It programs us to believe that we finally have a union government that represents the interest of the masses in tarpaulin covered chapels rather than those of the sniggering urban elites sipping chai lattes. This facade and a diversion have successfully clogged the scrutiny of the telecom bill, which is a system upgraded of colonial laws for digital authoritarian state, ignoring by the Digital divide. Let us start by looking at the unique Bharatiya provisions of Telecom Bill. Even at the time of public consultation, the explanatory memorandum to draft compared spectrum to a human soul, as described as the Bhagavad Gita. Indian influence has found its way in the telecom bill with the remaining of the Universal Service Obligations Fund as Digital Bharat Nidhi, the USOF, which is will levy on telecom services provider Reliance Jio or Airtel funds projects such as rural connectivity has seen little structural changes from the way it was designed under the Telegraph Act of 1885. The mere change is in name does little to address the challenges of a persisting digital divide that have recently become worse. As in reports by Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, the growth of new telecom users has sharply stagnated, and research report from the International Data Corporation show a contraction of smartphone sales for the second consecutive year. Here in with nationalistic chest beating, the telecom bill distracts us from its failure to present any fresh idea or solutions will remaining the USOF magically lead to millions of Indians gaining internet access. Innovation when present increases the discretionary power of the government to pick and choose private firms as national champions. For instance, take the provision for the allocation of satellite spectrum without the need for auctions that are listed in the first schedule of the telecom bill. This is likely to benefit the market entry of select private firms, as questioned by member of the parliament in the Rajya Sabha Prime Priyanka Chaturvedi. She said, "Guess who will soon step into mobile satellite services from India?" While linking to an article dated August 5, 2023 titled ISRO transfers satellite bus technology to Adani Group, Alpha Design Technology, even provisions for regulatory sandbox and online disputes resolution system are likely to benefit large corporations rather than Indian users due to prevailing oligopoly in the telecom sector. Modern authoritarianism state control is present throughout the Telecom Act without any change made to the colonial architecture. Changes within it are a clever rewording of phrases. For instance, licensing has been changed to the authorizations while making it more severe. This has been achieved by a studied definitional vagueness of telecommunication and telecommunication services that will include transmissions of any messages read together. This will allow the union government to license over the top messaging applications such as WhatsApp or email services such as email. This power will in the coming year be used alongside other regulations to break the security and confidentiality enjoyed by the Indians by using encryption based messaging. The same pattern is repeated for the interception and surveillance power or internet shutdowns, in which language from the telegraph bill has been plagiarized without safeguards insertion. So when present, such as a fresh provision on national security, expand the ability to the union government to use prescribed standards, suspend and take over any telecommunication services. Here, just like before, the phrase national security has not been defined to ensure the wave of a surveillance state is complete. The law requires any telecommunication service provider that may include WhatsApp or Signal to identify the user by any verifiable biometric based identification as may be prescribed to further ensure that every Indian company complies. A standard Kartabya Kal clause has been added in which there is a legal penalty of 25,000 for providing any false particulars, suppress any material information, and fail to share information are as required by this act. Many of these concerns were raised to the speakers of the Lok Sabha by Member of Parliament Gaurav Gogoi, where in a brief one-page letter dated December 19, 2023, he called for sending it to a standing committee instead of telecom bill was passed in haste, though both houses of Parliament constitutional charade. Neither Mrs. Chaturvedi or Mr. Gogoi could raise their public objections in Parliament or cast their votes. They could not even raise symbolic cries of same as they along with at least two-thirds of their fellow members of the opposition benches have been suspended competing on the parliamentary sections. Pratap Banu Mehta states in an article, this formal language of democracy serves increasingly to provide a constitutional barnier to what is in effect an unconstitutional concentration of power. His lament is justified, for as Milan W. Sublik has empirically demonstrated in the politics of authoritarian rule, 80% of the dictatorial countries surveyed from 1946. Now, where does this leave the ordinary Indian, or should we say Bharatvasi? We are being regularly reminded not to ponder over these disturbing questions and instead maintain health and sanity with a diet full of millets and a daily yoga practice. After all, we are undergoing a transformation of a colony to a Rashtriya, where the rule under the Constitution of India is being replaced to governance by scriptures under the divine vision of Prime Minister. As the telecom bill shows, India has indeed moved on. However, it is far from democracy. Then next article है Assam Meghalaya panel on boundary dispute to submit reports by December 31st. The regional committees on the boundary dispute between Assam and Meghalaya have been asked to submit their reports by the December 31st. A Meghalaya government official said on Friday Assam and Meghalaya had 12 disputes sectors along their 4.9 kilometer boundary. The disputes in six of these sectors were settled through an agreement signed on March 29, 2022 in the presence of Union Home Minister Amit Shah. The six disputed sectors that remain are Langfi, Bordwar, Nangwa, Mautamur, Desdumri, Block 1, Block 2 and PS Pisar, Khanduli. Three regional committees for three districts were set up by both states to study the disputed sector, meet the stakeholders, and submit a report to their respective governments extended time. In pursuance of the decision of the Chief Minister level meeting on the Assam Meghalaya border held on September 30, the government has expanded the time for submission of the report by the three regional committees to December 31st. A notification issued by Meghalaya's Chief Secretary D.P. Wahlang said earlier this week to Deputy Chief Ministers Preston Tynesong and Snehawa Bhalang Dhar are heading the regional committees for the Ri and West Jaintia Hills districts respectively, while Ministers Paul Lingdu is the chairman of the regional panel for the West Khasi Hill district. The boundary dispute between the two states has persisted since Meghalaya was carved out of Assam in 1972. At least a dozen people have been killed in these disputes. Other disputes, Assam and Arunachal Pradesh has also resolved their boundary dispute over 37 of the 123 villages with the signing of the Namsai declaration between Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma and his Arunachal Pradesh counterpart Pema Khandu on July 15, 2022. Assam also has an undergoing boundary dispute with Mizoram and Nagaland. The next article is Ministry hold meets with CMs of Northeast state over divine scheme. With a little over 10% of the funds under the Prime Minister's development initiatives for Northeast region sanctioned so far, the Ministry of Development of Northeastern region convened a meeting with the chief ministers of the states in the region of Friday, asking for feasible concept notes. The meeting comes in the wake of a review by the Prime Minister office that found that the scheme was yet to take off despite adequate funds. Huge losses on Friday. Union Minister G. Kishan Reddy held a virtual meeting with the chief ministers of all the northeast states to discuss the implementation of all projects, including those under divine Manipur. Chief Minister N. Biren Singh is said to have apprised the minister about huge losses suffered by the state due to law and order issue and internet shutdowns after May 3 ethnic violence that has claimed the lives of at least 175 people. He is said to have expressed helplessness in sending fresh proposals and a detailed project reports owing to the sustained unrest in the state. Mr. Singh posted on X that various ongoing projects were reviewed in the meetings. Also discussed new proposals aimed at enhancing and connectivity, boosting travel and tourism, and charted a path forward to 45-hour state's economy. He said out of 561 crore rupees allocated to Manipur under the Divine Scheme, DPR has only been approved for project worth 175.04 crore rupees. No money has been spent so far, and concept note for project worth 214.31 crore rupees were yet to be submitted. Arunachal Pradesh CM Prem Khandu posted on X that meeting was held to review the project and to resolve issues arising of implementation of these projects. On December 7, Donor Ministry informed the Rajya Sabha in a written reply that the total approved outlay for PM Divine Scheme for the period of 22-23 to the 25-26 is 6,600 crore. It is said that 9 projects worth 855.85 crore rupees had been approved so far. The scheme was announced in the 2022-23 Union Budget in an initial allocation of 1,500 crore rupees. The scheme is aimed at rapid and holistic development of the Northeast region by funding infrastructure and social development projects based on felt needs of the states. It will strive to fill the gaps in various sectors and will not be substitute for existing central and state schemes. So friends, this is all for today, and we will meet from tomorrow onwards with a new news article from the Hindu newspaper which are relevant from UPSC perspective. So thank you. Keep studying.